Again, welcoming you all. Warm greetings. We'll start today's sessions with a prayer. If you can all just sit erect. Om. Sahana vavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, saha viryam karvavahai, tejasvinavadhitamastu, ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. Thank you. So we have two sessions this morning. Afternoon, we have a panel discussion. You were all there yesterday with us. Thank you for being here so early this morning also. Let me introduce the chairperson of the first technical session that we have for this morning, Professor Dr. V Gopal, sir. V Gopal, sir. Sir, may I request you to please take up the dais. So before I introduce sir, let us welcome him with a bouquet. So Gopal sir, as we, very fondly call him, he is the registrar, academic, principal, College of Pharmacy, head of the Department of Pharmacognosy, Mother Teresa Postgraduate and Research Institute of Health Sciences, which is a government of Pondicherry institution accredited by NAC with A grade. And sir has a teaching experience of over 3 decades. All that I'm saying is just a representative sample because his biodata can be made into a book. So this is just a short one that I have written out. He's a multifaceted personality, and I've had the good fortune of having known him over at least 2 decades, sir. He's an excellent motivational speaker. That he keeps the audience really enthralled, and today you're going to see all that expertise, right? You're going to experience that. Sir has successfully guided, and 30 have completed PhD under his guideship, and 8 are doing it currently now. It's I think a very, very big credit to sir. And for the first time in India, sir has implemented diploma in Siddha pharmacy and homeopathy pharmacy. So he has brought in all these regulations in these systems for the first time. Sir has 194 publications, 3 books and 2 chapters. Just to mention a few again, to his credit. Sir is currently working for PWD, not the Public Works Department. This means like people with disability. So such a noble cause that sir is working for. And as a president of the Association of Community Pharmacists of India, sir has introduced counseling to be given before dispensing the medicine. So it is not blindly, the medicines are not given. Sir has now, after becoming the president of that association, has also implemented counseling to be done before the medicine is dispensed. And sir is the patron of APPA, the Association of Pharmacognosist. I'm not able to get that word. I'm sorry. Pharmacognosist, sir. Correct. Okay. And phytochemist of India. And sir is teaching, the native Vaidyas, Ayurvedic Vaidyas of about the standardization of their formulations. So something wonderful as far as the complementary medicines and systems go. Without much ado, let me give over to Gopal sir, who will be introducing the speaker, Hemant Bhargav, Dr. Hemant Bhargav. Sir, may I request you to please come. The speaker for this session will be Hemant Bhargav sir, and I request Gopal sir to introduce Hemant sir.
தான் பார்த்த உலகை நான் பார்க்க வேண்டும் என்று என்னை வயிற்றில் சுமந்த என் தாய், தான் பார்க்காத உலகையும் நான் பார்க்க வேண்டும் என்று என்னை தோளில் சுமந்த என் தந்தை, அவர்கள் இருவருக்கும் என் முதல் வணக்கம். There was a small discussion between a hammer and the key. The hammer told to the key, we both are capable of opening any lock. But I, the hammer, I will have to hit and break open the lock. But you, the key, you are able to do it very easily. How is that? The key said, you, the hammer, you are hitting on the head. That is why it is very difficult. I, the key, I am touching the heart of the lock. That is why it is very easy. A person who has touched the hearts of everybody here is Dr. Anand. Pranams to him. There was again a small discussion between the matchstick and the matchbox. The matchstick told to the matchbox, we both are rubbing against each other. But every time we rub, I, the matchstick, I am getting burnt. But you, the matchbox, you are never getting burnt. Why? The matchbox said, see, matchstick, you are having weight on your head. You are having head weight. That is why you are getting burnt. I am not having any weight on my head. That is why I am not getting burnt. A person without any head weight, Professor Meena Madam, thank you very much for adoring the stage. Today, we are very fortunate to have a person who is owner of 4 industries. He has an ice factory in his brain. His brain is always cool. He has a sugar factory in his tongue. He speaks sweet. He has a love factory in his heart. He loves his students. And because he is running these 3 factories successfully, God has given him a satisfactory life. He is none other than Dr. Hemant Bhargav. I request Dr. Hemant Bhargav to be on stage. I request Dr. Anand sir to welcome Dr. Hemant Bhargav with a bouquet of flowers.
Thank God I said Gopal sir to introduce.
Whenever Dr. Anand sir does something, there will be a deep meaning into it. He has welcomed Dr. Hemant Bhargav with a rose. The meaning is, be like a rose, that fragrance, the very hand that crushes it. In the last 10 years, if you look into the mentality of our Indians, everybody is investing in gold because maximum appreciation. And I think 1 gram is 5,575 today. 1 gram. So we here have a person who has got a number of gold medals. Gold medal for best MD, gold medal for best PhD, and gold medal for promising faculty of Duke University, United States of America. So he has 2 Indian gold and 1 American gold. India has two phases: before COVID, after COVID. And sir has one new dimension in that: during COVID. So during COVID, he was a member of the research and academic task force of UGC, prophylactic Ayush guidelines for children during COVID pandemic, and he was a member of the Society of Neuroscience America and others too. All this during this COVID season, his service to humanity. Congratulations. After this National Institute ranking framework has been introduced, teachers hardly find time to take class. Documentation, documentation, documentation. So before and all, when we meet somebody, we used to ask, how is your family members? How many children you have? Now, if we meet somebody, how many projects you have? How many completed? How many ongoing? So sir has been the principal investigator for 2 funded projects. He has completed 2 and ongoing 2 as co-investigator. If you take yoga, the best number in yoga is 108. So sir is having 108 scientific publications. H index 14, citation 600, 2 books, 10 book chapters. Research interest is in yoga, neuroscience, brain hemodynamics, and the like. He is a recipient of fellowship from Welcome, Department of Biotechnology, India Alliance Early Career Fellow. Apart from this, he has a very good academic background. He is a diploma in community mental health, MD in mental health and yoga rehabilitation, PhD in yoga and spirituality in mental health. So now he is assistant professor of integrative medicine in the Department of Integrative Medicine, NIMHANS, Bangalore. On behalf of everybody here, we welcome you, sir. And sir has integrated Sri Balaji Vidyapeeth with NIMHANS. So we are looking forward for further such collaborations. Next 1 year, we will have his association, we will develop and we will work for our community. So today is a very important day. Can anybody say what is the importance of today? There is one railway station in Tamil Nadu called Maniachi. So in that railway station, Collector Ash landed, and the train in which he entered was supposed to be there only for a few seconds. So one young yogi, he entered into the railway station. He went directly to him, wished him good morning, took his gun and shot him. And then he started running because people were chasing him. So he first ran into a washroom. And then he again ran back out of the washroom. He then entered into the next washroom, took his gun and shot himself. Now meta-analysis was done. Why he first ran into one washroom and then he came out and then ran into the another washroom. Even during the time of death, he understood that he has entered into the wrong washroom. It was female washroom. So he ran back out while the police were chasing him, shooting at him, and then he entered into the male washroom and then he shot himself. And when they searched his pocket, he had a platform ticket. So look at the discipline. See, this railway system, introducing platform system, it's not ours. It was something introduced by the British. So he follows even that. And also this washroom, male, female. So even during the time of death, so that is yoga. So once you are into it, you enter into self-discipline. Once you are into self-discipline, you get your attachment with stress detached. Once you detach from stress, then you are towards health. And once you are with health, you are with nature. Once you are with nature, you are with God. So today is that memorable day. So on this good day, we shall be patriotic, we shall be human, and we shall be with nature. So I wish you a very happy learning experience ahead. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gopal sir. I think this was the most wonderful introduction that I ever received in any conference. So in the ancient India, such conferences used to happen. In Charaka Samhita, if you read, there we find mention of the rishis coming from different directions, north, south, even people coming from Afghanistan, Kandahar, various areas, China. And they used to come, and there used to be a chairperson, who was the most learned among them all. He is called as Atreya Maharshi. So I would call Gopal sir our Atreya Maharshi today. So, with my heartfelt gratitude, I would like to thank Ananda sir. He is not only, my senior, he in the yogic lore, in the medical school also, we belong to same university. He did his MBBS from the same university. I did MBBS from the same university where he did. And he's like a elder brother and role model to me. When I was doing my MD and PhD, I used to come to conference, listen to him, and got highly motivated to do what I have been, trying to do. So I'm really thankful to you, sir, for giving this opportunity. And I'm thankful to Meena madam, for connecting with me and taking such wonderful care of me when I'm here. And my namaste to all of you. So namaste, is something which is rooted in our culture. If you look at the meaning of this word, it means namaha, means I bow. So asti means the me, and to you, I bow down to you. So whenever a person, in COVID time, it became very popular all over the globe. You have to do a namaste. So you can look, that the culture of India was so scientific. People learned it when the COVID came, but Rishi already knew it, that it spreads infection when you touch hands. And there was a deep-rooted sense of, that every time you do namaste to somebody, it reminds you of that divine, which is there in your heart, which is there in the fellow's heart. So it was a practice to remind you of that divinity. So with this feeling, I do namaste to all of you. So I come from the National Institute of Mental Health and Neuroscience. This is one of the major mental health institutions of the country. If you look at the logo of NIMHANS, here you see I have highlighted it. It is Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. It was in 1950s, when this logo was designed. And those days, it was only a modern medicine setup. But somewhere in the destiny of NIMHANS, this yoga was there. So it was there in the logo. And now we see that in the last 2 decades, we have been able to start a yoga center there. And it was a very humble beginning, like what Ananda sir said, just one OPD. And then slowly it grew up. And now we have a separate department in the institute. It is called as the Department of Integrative Medicine. Now, when we look at the word yoga, before 2 decades, it was not at all popular. It was something that was just, for people who want to live the worldly life, go into Himalayas, want to do some secret practices. It was considered as very mystical practice. But then from 2000 onwards, you see the number of RCTs, randomized controlled trials, that are getting published. And there is an exponential rise, in this domain of research, not only in India. If you look at it, there are various countries. After India, you see USA is doing a lot of research in yoga. Then we have UK, Australia, Iran, Germany. So over the globe, this particular discipline has gained some popularity, some attraction. Why? Why is this particular discipline, there is a renaissance of this in the new millennia? And you look at the clinical applications of yoga. Initially, it came up as something as a well-being phenomena. But now, we see that more and more systematic randomized controlled trials are getting published, and more disorders are coming up where some or the other aspect of the disease is being addressed by yoga. So most importantly, you see the stage 3 and stage 4 cancer patients, where there is a high impact, publications where it says that it definitely reduces chemo, radiotherapy side effects, improve their longevity, improves their quality of life, and also enhances functioning of the natural killer cells, which can eat the cancerous cells, Then we see asthma, depression, is one of the area in mental health where there is maximum evidence, diabetes, low back pain. So when yoga has become so popular, with this, we also see that various yoga schools have come up. Everybody has become a yoga teacher. There is a problem of quality control, So what is yoga? This kind of question comes in. I see there are some youngsters here. So I would like to ask, anybody, what is any student who has learnt yoga? What do you think yoga is? It is union of mind and body, So this is good. There are good students. They are learning properly about yoga here. So when, you ask this question, what is yoga? Generally, when you close your eyes and you imagine that I am doing yoga, the picture that comes to your mind is some, very thin, flexible model, in television, she would be doing some kind of a complicated posture. That is the understanding that we get in our mind when we say yoga. But this was not the understanding whenever Rishi Munis coined this term. It was very deep than that. So I would like to draw your attention towards this very fundamental principle. In medicine, I think this can be a very, very wonderful understanding if it can come up. There are these 5 basic elements in the nature around us: air, water, earth, fire, space. These elements are there within us also. Whether it is Siddha, whether it is homeopathy, whether it is modern medicine, whether it is yoga, whether it is Ayurveda, no system of medicine is different from these 5 basic elements. It is the very basis of naturopathy also. So everybody is now talking about integrative medicine. What I feel is that if these 5 basic elements, which are the truth of life, if we form these as our basis, then we may be able to find some way of integrating different systems. So air plus space, they form the dosha, the humor in the body. This is called as vata. Fire plus water form pitta, and water plus earth form kapha. So vata is the dynamic principle, the principle that does motility in the body. Digestion, transformation happens through pitta. When they get vitiated, this pitta becomes inflammation, and kapha provides structural integrity to the tissues. Now, what mankind has done, in the last, say, in this century, we have seen that we have been able to conquer the air. We are now able to fly. Now everybody is able to fly. Earlier we were going through water. Now we can go at lightning speed over the water. We can go under the water. Correct? We have won over the fire. We can send rockets to the space. We have reached up to Mars. So with this external science and technology, we have almost gained mastery, control over these 5 basic elements outside. But these 5 basic elements are within me also, and is there a science and technology through which I can gain mastery over these 5 basic elements within me? This is the question. So for this, for this kind of knowledge, our engineering, books that are there, which are sending us to space, won't work. Here, there is a wealth of knowledge in our tradition, which teaches us about the science and technology of the systems within me, So from the Vedas, we see that the Atharva Veda provides the knowledge of Ayurveda. Upanishads, especially the Rig Veda, where the yoga word was mentioned for the first time, thousands of years ago, 10,000 BC it goes. So from there, when these sciences came, the basis was these 5 basic elements. And as I said, physically it is Vata, Pitta, Kapha. They are more physiological. They do different kind of functions. And mentally, their parallel are the gunas, known as the Rajas, Sattva, and Tamas. So the whole science of yoga and Ayurveda is to learn certain techniques through which I can gain mastery over the system within me. So first we should understand what is this system that we have. Say, for example, in the Vedic literature, when you talk about different mudras, they say that your 5 fingers are connected to 5 basic elements. Now we are beginning to understand the inner science and technology of the 5 basic elements. So you see that there are different kind of mudras that are adapted. The science is whichever fingers that you touch or whichever thing that is up stimulated, that particular element in your body goes up. Has anybody tried any of the yogic mudras? In therapy, so what we have seen is that these mudras are able to produce significant physiological changes in the body. So one small example I would like to give to the audience here, so that you get a feel of whether there is something that I can feel in my body when I adopt different mudra. Okay. So what we will do is we will do a very small practice. So this is known as Vibhagiya Pranayama, a very common pranayama in yoga. So what we are going to do is we perform this particular breathing with 3 different mudras. And after you perform this practice, I will ask you a question. Okay, everybody please pay attention. So you imagine that your chest is divided into 3 zones. The lower zone, the middle zone is in the mammary gland area, and the upper zone just below your shoulder. The chest is divided into 3 zones. We will adopt 3 mudras. First Chin Mudra, then Chinmay Mudra, then Adi Mudra. And we will perform this breathing in this ratio. Okay. What you have to tell me after the practice is whether when you change the mudra, the airflow in 3 zones of the lungs, whether it changed or not. Okay. So is it okay? We all can do this? Fine. So first sit with your back and neck erect. Adopt Chin Mudra, join your thumb and the index finger. Whenever you adopt a mudra, don't touch the nail, touch the pulp of the finger. Other 3 fingers should be tight and erect. Okay. You can face this mudra downwards or upwards, whatever that you are comfortable with. Okay. Adopt the mudra, close your eyes. Now just become aware of the 3 zones of your chest. Now take a deep breath in, hold your breath inside. Breathe out and empty your lungs. Breathe in with my count. Breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Breathe out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Breathe out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Release the mudra. Palm facing upwards. Just pay the attention to the zone of the chest where the air moves more when you adopt a particular mudra. Now change the mudra to the second mudra. Just open your eyes. Chinmay Mudra. Join thumb and the index finger. Bend the other 3 fingers. Put them into the crease here and tuck it in. Yes. Keep the mudra tight. Rest of the body relax. You can face it down or up, whatever comfortable. Close your eyes. Bring your attention to the 3 zones of the chest. Take a deep breath in. Hold your breath inside. Breathe out and empty your lungs. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Breathe out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Breathe out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Release the mudra. Palm facing upwards. Just observe the breath. Now the last mudra, the third mudra. Just bend your thumb. Make a fist. Face it downwards. Keep it tight. Eyes closed. Attention on the 3 zones of the chest. Just watch where the air moves more. Take a deep breath in. Hold your breath inside. Breathe out and empty your lungs. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Breathe out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Breathe out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Release the mudra. Palm facing upwards and slowly open your eyes. Now, how many of you, observed that by changing the mudra, the airflow in the 3 different zones changed? Just raise your hand. Yes? So there are certain people who have done it and they observed that it changed, Now, what is the mechanism? No anatomy, no physiology can explain you. When you are pressing certain kind of finger, when you are doing it in a certain way, it is changing, What do you think is the mechanism here? So here the mechanism is that the 5 basic elements that are represented in the fingers, the fire element among them is the lightest, that goes up. The earth element among them is the heaviest, that goes down. And when both are pressed, it comes in the middle. So if you look at it properly, you see that there is something happening, with your hand, within your breath. It also has some impact on your mind. So this is what I just wanted to give a glimpse, that there is something that we don't know. So yoga is an ancient way of right living, that is to live in harmony with oneself and the nature around. We all know, the hatha, word hatha has become very popular. Ha, according to Hatha Yoga Pradipika, means the sun, and tha means the moon. And this earth is somewhere between the sun and the moon. It is getting radiations from the both the sides. So do these radiations have any impact on us? What do you think? Whether the phases of the moon, you think there is any impact on our system? Yes? How do you think, madam? Yeah. Wonderful. What is your name? Garima. Thank you. Thank you for answering, Garima. Garima has given a very good answer. She says that the energy level, she can feel that they are different on new moon and full moon. These are very subtle sciences. You have to be very calm. You have to be very sensitive to energies within you. I come from Nimhans. Sir, one observation I would like to tell you. Our residents, psychiatric residents, they are on call duty in the nights. There is a data, significant data, that say that the patients who call in the night for emergency services from the ward, that data is significantly higher during the new moon as compared to the other days. So why this is happening? People, their mental agitations are becoming more with the phases of the moon. No, sir, we are trying to write that. I think it will be very important. Yes. So in our body, we have these 5 basic elements. What is your body weight? Sir, what is your body weight? Your body weight, yeah? 60 kg. Now, in this 60 kg, can you tell me the percentage? How much percentage of earth you have? How much percent of water? How much percent of fire, air and space in this 60 kg? Your body weight. 70% is water. Correct? So 42 kg. 42 kg is water. Then rest, 30% what is there? Only earth. Because only earth and water have mass. Fire, air and space do not have any mass. So rest of it, 18 kg is earth. Were you aware that your whole weight is earth and water only? And the water that you have in your system, the concentration of salt in that water is exactly the same as in the sea. And what happens to the sea with different phases of the moon? We know that the waves keep rising more and more with the phases of the moon. So if the 70% of your existence, your physical existence is connected to the moon in terms of sea water, do you feel that there is any kind of thing that is happening with that? Really, if you see a person who is attuned in his energies through yogic practices, as soon as they get up in the morning, they know today is Ekadashi. They know today is new moon. They can feel it. They can feel it in their system because we are not different from nature. This is what the understanding of yoga that I would like to give you. Yoga is to bring your energies in harmony with the cosmos. Because this harmony is resilience. It is immunity. It is balance that we are seeking. So Hatha, the sun and the moon, you can regulate these things. The factor, the heat in the body, the coolness in the body. The right nostril is connected to the sun channels. The left is connected to the moon channels. There are 72,000 such channels in the body. 36,000 on the right side, 36,000 on the left side, dynamically changing. There are circadian rhythms, there are ultradian, right and left rhythms in the body. So research has just started to come up in this area. So with yogic technology of inner sciences, biorhythms attuned to cosmic rhythms. Attuned biorhythms leads to improved mental and physical resilience. Improved resilience leads to improved social rhythms. Social rhythms enhance well-being, and this further enhances our attunement with the cosmic rhythm. So it is not health that you have 6 abs, that you have big muscles. People who look physically very fit, they are dying in the gym while doing intense exercise. Their body cannot tolerate stress. But a very thin, lean fellow who is a yogi will be able to, tolerate intense amount of stress or such kind of situation. Why? So it is the attunement of biorhythms to the cosmic rhythms. This optimization is what that yoga brings, within you and around you. So this is the understanding that I want to give to the youngsters here. First we have to understand our own system. So we are talking about inner technology. This is our Upanishads talking here. Katha Upanishad, provides this parable of a chariot. The 5 horses. What are the 5 horses, madam? What are the 5 horses? Can you see the 5 horses there? What do you think they are? Yes? Yes. So these 5 horses are our 5 sense organs, which are driving our consciousness outward. Yes? The reins through which these horses are being controlled, they are the mind, which is connecting on one side to the sense organ, on other side it is held by the intellect. Okay? Now this intellect has a very tedious job. It has to, you cannot keep it too tight, you cannot keep it too loose. You have to fine tune the senses. And in this whole phenomena, there is one fellow sitting behind. His hands are folded and he has nothing to do with it, he is watching. This is Atman. In Vedic literature, in Bhagavad Gita, this is called as Atman. Now, what is happening to our chariot now? Where is it going? First ask yourself, in all these elements, senses, mind, intellect, Atman, and the whole thing is there in the body, which is the most powerful element in your life? Which drives your chariot? Are these the senses, the horses that is driving your chariot? Or is this the intellect? Or is this the Atman that is driving your chariot? Who is the driver? If horses are driving you, horses don't know where to go. Horses will just drive. You will go mad. It will just drive. It doesn't know anything. So who should be the driver? This is the question. Who should be the driver of my chariot? So you have to turn the consciousness inwards, and this fellow sitting behind is the most intelligent fellow. He knows where to go. He perfectly knows the purpose of your life, and your guru is within you. So this particular Atman, what we talk about is a very confusing term. Many people have different kind of understanding. Somebody says soul, somebody say Atman. So if you strictly want to understand from Vedic point of view, this Atman, where is it located? Anybody? Where is this fellow, Atman, located according to the Vedic literature? It is in the Hridaya Sthana. So, anybody else? Yes, good. Anybody else? Nabhi also. All the pranic channels in the body unite. Patanjali says, if you do samyama on the Nabhi, you get kaya vyuha jnanam. But if you go into the very essence of the Vedas, or you read the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where the Sankhya Yoga, this Atma has been described. So Krishna says that this Atma, the characteristic are that it is sarvagatam, sthanuhu, achalo yam sanatana, everywhere. The Atman has been described as the analogy that they give to understand this is there are three analogies. One is, you imagine that a fish is there in the center of a lake, and the water is there within the fish, and the water is there outside the fish, and this water is the Atman. This is one understanding of the Atman. Second analogy that Bhagavad Gita gives is like the air remains in the sky, but the air does not touch the sky. Can there be air without sky? Can there be air without sky? Yes or no? Without space, can there be air? No. Without air, can there be space? Yes. So air remains in space, correct? But would you say that air touches the space? No. So in the same way, these all entities, Indriyas, Manas, Buddhi, they remain in the Atman, but they don't touch the Atman. And the Atman is everywhere. So the whole yogic technology is that you have been taught from your childhood to turn your consciousness outward, improve your memory, deal with things around. Yes, definitely, that was important. All this comfort that we have is because of our external engineering. But now, the time has come. The kind of emotional turmoil that we are all in, we have to turn inwards to solve questions of our existential questions. So Patanjali says in 1.29, Tataha pratyak chetanadhigamo antaraya bhavascha. From that practice of yoga, he is specifically talking about chanting Om and turning the consciousness inwards. The obstacles are overcome. The obstacles have been described as antarayas. The first antaraya itself is vyadhi. Patanjali says even this is a byproduct, it will go if you start on the inward journey. So now, I would like to ask you a question. What do you think, especially the student, do you think there is any connection between your body, mind and breath? What do you think? Is there any connection? What have you felt any time like this? Please tell me, Garima. Please clap for Garima. So I am very impressed with your students, sir. So, chale vate chale chittam, nischale nischalam bhavet. It is written in Hatha Yoga Pradipika. There is a connection of your thoughts and your breath. Okay. This is a question that, people commonly ask, but I don't think the audience here has to answer this. We all know that in asana, sthiram sukham asana, prayatna shaithilyam, ananta samapattibhyam. Asana is the stability of the body with utmost comfort and relaxation. So it cannot match any exercise. Therefore, the physiologically what we have observed, the effects after a asana session and a effect after gym, entirely different on the body. In fact, gym without a proper relaxation is again another stress to the body. It is stress to your heart. Fine. So just an example, whether your mind produces any impact on the body. What do you think? Which posture would a person adopt when he feels very sad? If a person is very sad, what will happen to his body language? He will go down. What will happen to his shoulders? Looping shoulders, very low, very sad. So if he's too sad, he would like to isolate himself, something like this. All of you agree? that a sad person would assume this posture of the body? Why? Why a person has to bend forward? Why doesn't a sad person go like that? Why is it that he has to assume this posture only? What is the psychology behind this?
The confidence that
He needs someone to comfort him.
Huh?
He needs someone to
So he needs somebody. He okay. So he feels that it is more comfortable. He needs support, so he's supporting himself. Safety position. See, all our vital organs, our heart, eyes, face, they are all very vital. Abdomen. If you get injured in this area, you will die. If somebody hits on your back, it is okay. Correct? So you are protecting all your vital organs. This is the posture which a baby adopts in the womb. Karna Pidasana kind of a posture. So, another thing that he wants to do is he doesn't want to connect to anybody. He wants to isolate himself. So, all his sense organ he wants to close. He's sad, he wants to isolate. So, there is an effect of my psychology on my body. So, I feel secure in this pose. So, to a patient who has anxiety, if you give him Pavan Muktasana, it is Pavan Muktasana in sitting. Will he feel better? In Shashankasana, if you just move it little, it is Shashankasana. Which portion does a person adopt when he feels happy? You imagine that it is a fresh Sunday, you with your friends go on a trek, onto a mountain, then you see a beautiful sea down, and all of you reach at the top and you are very happy. What posture would your body adopt? Yes. Yeah, open up. So the person wants to connect to the nature. Person wants to connect to nature. There is smile on the face. There is spread chest opening, backward bending. So here is a person filled with energy, with positive emotions, happiness in the mood. My mind is producing this effect on my body. So now the question is, if my mind can produce an effect on my body, if to a depressed person I teach him hands in and out breathing, breathe in, breathe out, whether the brain will get a feedback that something positive is happening and his mood will change. Similarly, what happens to your breath when you feel different emotions, such as anger or sadness? You have observed it? When you are angry, what happens to your breath?
It becomes faster when I'm angry and sad,
So imagine yourself very angry. Somebody is very angry. You can literally see the chest moving, nose flaring. Yeah. So there is increase in the rate of the breath, and also there is depth of the breath. So interestingly, there have been some researches, emotions producing changes in the breathing pattern. So see, the anger speed is increasing and depth is also. In fear, see how erratic the breath becomes. Whereas in the joy and meditation, you see it being more serene. Bloch et al. Actually, performed very interesting research. They hypnotized the patients. After hypnotizing them, they told them to imagine a situation of their life when they were most sad. And they observed their breathing pattern. Then they asked them to imagine a situation when they were happiest and observe. And they put that plethysmograph and saw the chest movements. This is very interesting. So here, hypnotized subject sadness. You see, they have enlarged here in the last graph. The inhalation has become more broken. Some sadness, and exhalation has become more rapid and steeply it is coming down. Now you see the anger one is so erratic, up and down, fast and deep. But the last one is the joy. And you see the first one, which is sadness, and the last one, which is joy. They are exactly opposite to each other. They are ulta. Yeah. So what this research is suggesting is that you have to prolong your exhalation and do your exhalation in steps. That is what we did. Breathe in for 4 count, breathe out in 8 counts. If you do this kind of a breathing, your brain gets a signal that you are joyful. So it starts releasing chemicals, endorphins. You start feeling joyful. So there is a science. By changing your breath, you can change your emotion. By changing the postures of your body, you can change your mood. So this is the inner technology. I'm talking about inner technology to manage yourself. So scientifically also, people have done researches and they have found that in your nose, in the mucosal lining of the nose, there are internal nasal meatus and there is olfactory bulb there. There are glossopharyngeal nerve fibers rooted in that area connecting to hypothalamus, through which it can bring a change in the autonomic nervous system, and also through the olfactory bulb, the PFC, ACC, the amygdala. So the area which are associated with negative ruminations and emotions get deactivated. The area associated with inhibition and willpower, they get activated by doing these pranayamas. When they did the same research by telling the subjects to do the breathing through the mouth, no change happened. The changes happened only when they did it by breathing through the nose. So 2 kinds of breathings now have been found to be effective scientifically. One is known as slow paced breathing. Everybody is talking about it now. When you reduce your breathing rate to below 6 per minute and change your inhalation is to exhalation to a ratio of 1:2, 4:8. So just keep your hand on your abdomen, focus on your breath, breathe in for 4 count, breathe out in 8 count. Continue this. It is a very, very simple process to change your mood to positivity, reduce your stress levels. And it has been found, connected to the locus coeruleus, the adrenaline system in the brain. And people have also found that during inhalation and exhalation also there is differential effect of different phases. Inhalation is associated with more sympathetic activity and exhalation is more associated with parasympathetic activity. Similarly, there is another pranayama which is very popular. This is fast breathing pranayama, cyclical breathing, fast hyperventilation. This has been found to upregulate arousal. When you feel very drowsy, sleepy, when kapha is more, you want to reduce it, then you can use the Bhastrika and Kapalabhati related pranayamas. So therefore, the whole domain of yoga is that you have to terminate the agitations of the mind. And for that, Patanjali prescribed certain behavioral techniques, the yamas and niyamas, asanas, the postures, pranayama, and then comes the techniques where you start dealing with the mind directly. And a lot of research has happened. Some schools of yoga have explored only one domain, some have explored them in combination. But fundamentally, in the end, I would like to talk about the mechanism of action through which yoga works. So biologically speaking, there are 2 mechanisms. One is known as the top-down approach and other is bottom-up approach. The top-down predominantly, it is coming in our clinics also. We are observing that wherever we require this pregabalin, gabapentin, GABAergic drugs, there yoga is working well. So it is the central GABAergic tone that gets enhanced. So sir is there. Sir will understand more that the GABA is the neurotransmitter which is released in the brain. Then you feel very calm, relaxed. You do not have anxiety. When GABA levels are low, you get anxious. Other mechanism is down regulation of hypothalamo-pituitary adrenal axis, thereby reducing the cortisol levels. We have also demonstrated that yoga enhanced BDNF level, the brain-derived neurotrophic factor in the brain. It is a marker of neuroplasticity. When any injury happens, your brain should be able to form new connections. And of course, the balance of the autonomic nervous system. So bottom up, you do Kapalabhati, you do various asanas. So it is the vagal afferents that bring this kind of effect. So the yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi, all work, at different levels of your health, which, WHO defines as our overall well-being. So yoga in itself is a complete holistic science that can bring well-being in all the domains of the health. So with this, I would like to conclude. Thank you. Thank you very much for your patient listening.
Beautiful session. Congrats. We have a number of seasons: summer, spring, autumn, winter. But among all the seasons, the best season is early winter. You just imagine, it's very hot, but inside you're not able to feel it. But after feeling this hot and humid weather, when you are entering into the early winter, no, you will have that extreme amount of comfort. So that extreme amount of comfort is called as Hemant. So we were able to enjoy Hemant with Dr. Hemant Bhargav's beautiful session. In English, there is a very beautiful word that is called ask. It is an abbreviation. The full form is Art of Seeking Knowledge, ASK. So now we have to extract more from Dr. Hemant. That extraction process will be successful only when you ask. So you ask him a lot of questions. He was saying about 5 horses. We have got a son who has 6 horses. And what is the name of the 6 horses? What, where, which, when, how, why, who. So son is a great guru. So if you want to get something from guru, you should follow the 6 horses. So you should ask him, what is this? Why is this? Who is this? Where is this? When is this? So you pester him with questions. So time for questions. After the question session is over, then I will sum up. A mic is available. If anybody.
No question, sir. Just want to say it was a wonderful session.
Sir, you said the mind is everywhere, but scientifically they say it is in the limbic system. What do you think about this?
So I'll just stand. Now, if you look at the brain, you know, the understanding that we had in the last decade was that a particular area of the brain is performing a particular function. You know, Broca's area associated with language, speech, and all those things were there. But if you look at it, the more we are understanding brain, the more we are realizing that it is not about the area. The neuroplasticity is such. You damage any other area of the brain are able to take that function up. You know. So now the understanding that is coming up now is that it is not about the area, it is more about the circuits of the brain. You know, these circuits that develop a habit of moving in a certain direction, they continue to move, you know, to change the circuit pattern. I see those circuits of the brain, you know, repeating again and again as chitta vrittis. So we have to break those patterns. So amygdala, limbic system is the area of the brain which is the most primitive brain. You know, it is the brain that is there in the primates. This area of the brain is associated with all our animal instincts. You know, the shadripus that are there, lobha, krodha, moha, everything is there in this area. And the neocortex, which makes us human, you know, it is this PFC, this neocortex. This particular area of the brain releases inhibitory neurotransmitters, onto the limbic system. So we call the limbic system as the Manomaya Kosha and the PFC as the Vijnanamaya Kosha. When you take any alcohol, when you take any kind of substance, cannabis or anything, it is your PFC that gets knocked out. And then you start behaving like an animal. It means that you don't have control over your emotions, and the limbic system starts manifesting without any inhibition on itself. So therefore, what we are seeing now is that more than particular areas of the brain, the circuits are playing an important role. When I said mind is everywhere, I spoke about a consciousness, not the mind per se, but the consciousness which is in the background, uninvolved, watching, the Purusha, which is reflecting itself on the Chitta, but it is not the mind per se. Like the analogy that they give is, if you have a glass mirror in your hand and you put it on the ground, okay, the glass will show the sun. So it is a limited thing, very small glass, but it is reflecting the whole sun. The mind is like that. Within it, it is not everywhere, but it has a capacity of reflecting the one who is everywhere. Thank you. Thank you.
Circuit, they say it is paper circuit, can be correlated. So what you are saying?
Yes, yes.
Paper
We
circuit.
can correlate with that. Thank you. Thank you.
I think the challenge is that we tend to think that because that glass is reflecting the sun, that the glass is the sun.
Yes.
This is the big issue,
Yes.
which is why again Maharishi Patanjali, he has given us such an amazing treasure in the Yoga Sutra. We don't need anything else.
Yeah.
Because as the other day in the online session, and it's on YouTube, a very beautiful session by Dr. Hemant in our FDP. What we have to be very careful is that we think we are inventing something new. It's already there in our scriptures. We have to interpret it in line with modern scientific understanding. So we only have to interpret it in modern scientific ways.
Yes.
We don't have to invent it. It's already there. And the concept that Patanjali says, you are confusing that just like you confuse the glass contains the sun, you are confusing that you are that. And when the moment you realize this is just the glass reflecting the sun, you attain Kaivalya.
Yes.
So I think this illusion, that is why the root of it is the kleshas.
Yes.
If you look at Patanjali's knowledge system, we always look at Ashtanga. But I believe the Kriya Yoga system is more potent because it deals with the kleshas, which are the fundamental root cause of the whole karma. And because they drive us, as you said, the amygdala, and those are the areas that have all those primordial instincts, they are driving us to the Shatripus. And so this is why I like your concept very much here, that it is not an anatomical correlation, it is a physiological correlation we need to get today. Like people used to think chakras are there in the body. So they think that, the gonads are Mooladhara. Gonad is not Mooladhara, but the energy of the Mooladhara functions through the gonad. So I think a functional correlation, and that is why when you said the circuits, and the one question I was just thinking, here we talk about the breathing through the nose and that the mouth doesn't do it. What would happen if somebody from the childhood is not doing nasal breathing because of, say, adenoids and other structural issues? How would it impact consciousness?
It is, there are papers, sir. There are papers which have now shown that children who had adenoids from childhood, when they were followed up, they had a significantly higher risk of developing attention deficit hyperactivity disorders. So there is more and more agitation. When you say attention deficit hyperactivity, that is what they become more prone to. They find it difficult to manage their emotions, their impulsivity, externalizing traits increase.
chance, students, this is a beautiful chance to ask questions. And remember, no question is stupid. Answer can be stupid, but questions can never be stupid. So ask questions. Yes, Anita. Good. At least one person is listening to you.
You asked us to shut up. Shut up your mouth, no? Everybody's thinking that. Indirectly, isn't it? We should keep our mouth shut. Then there is no issue. I didn't breathing through the nose, so you have to keep your mouth closed. I mean that.
Sir, I practice speech therapy and I have a client who had this adenoid issues and she's not practiced nasal breathing at all. She has so much difficulty in sleeping. She's a small child, 5 to 6 years old, and she's still breathing through the mouth only. So what can I do? I am giving speech therapy. So before that, is it possible to give some breathing exercises or anything which you suggest as part of the
No,
therapy?
it depends on how big the adenoids are. If she can, breathe through the nostril, then it is good.
Right now, the mother says it's not present. So it was there during the childhood, like when she was 3 or 4 years old. Now it's okay, but she's still having that issue of breathing through the mouth a lot and not through the nose.
Oh, it means the adenoid problem is
After
solved, but she
reflex.
had developed a habit of.
Yeah, she has learned that habit of breathing through the mouth. The doctors are suggesting to tie the mouth and all. So I said, don't do that to your child. So what can I do as a therapist during my practice, sir?
See, whenever you have to change a habit, you have to develop the opposite habit. So basically, in your therapy session, like I did this sectional breathing practice with you, you have to start giving her different kind of pranayamas, which are being done only through the nostrils. So you can. What is her age now?
6.
6-year-old child can do all the pranayamas actually. So she can, you can start doing with this sectional breathing, the Vibhagiya pranayama. Then you can Nadi Shuddhi pranayama, Surya Anulom Viloma, Surya Anulom Viloma, and even the Brahmari, where she feels the vibration throughout the body. That is also a very good intervention.
But one issue I am having is she has a little bit cognitive decline also. So I'm not able to make her really understand to do certain things.
So these cognitive decline may be because of her adenoids, because
Yes,
it affects the
yes.
cognition. So it is going in the.
She has
way.
speech delay as well as a little bit of
Yes.
cognitive
So
decline.
if there is a cognitive decline, we have certain breathing practices that we teach to autistic children also. So in that, very simple thing is that you do and she will imitate. Very simple thing. Just close the right nostril and with count tell her to breathe in with you with your hand 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This much. So just close the right. Do it from the left for say 20 rounds. Then do it again from the right for say another 20 rounds. And this is the simplistic way in which she can do. And after that, she can do it with both the nostril where she focuses on her abdomen. But she will focus on the bulging up and down of the abdomen. But her breathing will be going on through the mouth, through the nose. So in this way, you have to start with very slow breathing practices. And slowly, 2 times a day, 3 times a day, 4 times a day. Make it a habit. This is very simple thing that you can teach her mother also to do. Because what we have found is that with differential right and left nostril, the contralateral hemispheres get stimulated. So right nostril affects the left one, the left one affects the right one. So that's why both the nostril breathing is necessary.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Regarding the concept of diet, medical perspective, texts are different. Like are there some in the
72 lakhs somewhere there. Yeah.
like in Shiv Shanhita also there are like 250,000 and in Upanishads also they have different explanation according to that. So in medical perspective, sir, how can we define that subtle channels and are there any researches being done or is there any evidence for that, sir?
Very beautiful question. One of my favorite questions. What is your name?
My name is Nilachal, sir.
Nilanjan.
Yes, sir.
You are a yoga student here.
Yes, sir.
Nilachal, you are doing PhD in yoga?
Yes, I'm doing PhD, sir. Also, sir, as a part of some webinars, I also organized one webinars and you were one of the speakers.
Wonderful. So, Now, this particular domain, yoga, please sit, Neelaj. So yoga, when we see in the last decade, it was considered that yoga means only asanas. But now we see that people have got saturated with that kind of a understanding. And now there is a renewed interest in the pranayamas. Pranayama are becoming more and more popular. And the pranic domain is being explored. When you look at it practically from the modern medicine point of view, I would suggest that you look at it as the physiological function, as sir was telling. There are 5 pranas. The prana that is mukha prana. In the face region, its area is from the face to the chest. You breathe in, the inhaled air comes with that prana. And then there is the downward moving prana from the navel region to the feet. This is known as the apana. All the downward functions, urination, defecation, micturition, parturition, everything is happening with this particular prana. Then there is another prana which is there in the chest region, which moves upward. That is the udana prana. The prana that generates hiccups, the prana that they say that when the body leaves this, all the prana merge in udana prana and they go up. Then the central prana is the balancing prana. When the prana and apana are balanced, this prana is connected to your digestive fire. This is known as the samana prana. And then there is another prana that circulates throughout the body. This is the vyana prana. This much understanding we have. Now, 2 ways in which we try to understand is, one is you connect it to the 5 basic elements. In this way, you see that which is the prana which is connected to earth and water among the 5. Because both earth and water go down with gravity. Correct? So that is the prana that will move downward. Which is the prana that you will connect to fire? Samana, which is the digestive fire, and also udana, because it is going against the gravity. Only fire goes against the gravity. And vyana is everywhere as a space or air, space component. So now when you understand prana in this way, then you can understand the disorders from the point of view of whether it is vata, pitta or kapha related disorder. Then if you look at Hatha Yoga Pradipika or other text, the various kind of prana like Kapalabhati, has been called as Kapha Dosha Vishoshini. Kapha is earth and water. Kapalabhati, what it does? It works on which prana? Samana. It enhances the Jaఠaragni. By that, it reduces the kapha. So it is increasing the agni and reducing the kapha. You understand like that? So in this way, we have to look at it in these dimensions of doshas from the Ayurveda perspective. Even in yoga text, these doshas are there. So this, I feel, can enhance clinical application which are more specific. From modern point of view, you asked about devices. So we have seen one device which is known as the gas discharge visualization device, GDV. It is also called as BioWell 2.0, developed by a Russian scientist, Korotkov. There are around 200-300 research papers on that. We found that this device is also able to give you a kind of a subtle energy domain in an objective way. So we, even with a Parkinson patient, we observed that there was lesser prana moving into the head region, and after an acupuncture session, it improved, and those things are there. So this device can help, and also the physiological functions of the body, all the downward moving functions. You look at it as a functional entity now in the terms of modern medicine. And the law with prana is wherever the mind goes, there the prana goes. Okay. Wherever the prana goes, that part becomes sensitive because it is life energy. If the prana goes excessively, that part becomes hypersensitive. If prana doesn't go at all, that part undergoes wasting. It becomes insensitive and wastes because it is life energy. So clinically, say asthma, somebody has asthma. What is happening in the chest? The prana is excessive or less? Excessive, because now the pollen grains, simple cold air is generating cough. Excess prana in the chest, has caused hypersensitivity in asthma. Prana cannot be created nor be destroyed, like energy, but it can be channelized from one direction to another, So I would channelize this prana, which is excessively accumulated in the chest region, into the limbs downward. So I'll give her more, downward moving practices like butterfly, or loosening practices of the whole body, or Nadi Shuddhi Pranayama to balance. So this way, I am seeing a asthma patient as more prana in the chest and helping the patient by balancing the prana. Like that, a patient who has constipation has lesser of apana prana. You have to increase that. And there is a connection like that also. We see when you think more, when you have intense fear, people develop diarrhea or develop digestive disturbances when their mood is low. So their excessive prana is reducing samana. In this way, we should start linking thinking to the prana function and see the physiological function and apply it. Thank you. Thank you.
I like saying, the excessive prana in asthma. Because if you look at the X-ray, there's hyperinflation also. Yes. So, again, this correlation. There are these correlates, they're already there. We are not looking at them. So it is like everything is there. We need to look for it. So we need to have that jnana drishti. For that jnana agni has to be there. Really, really very, very special. And it's just wonderful. That is why I wanted very much Dr. Hemant to be here, so that you could see how the modern medical perspective, the yogic perspective can come together seamlessly. I think that is very important. Thank you so much.
Some 10 years back, we had a program in my institution. My institution is Mother Teresa Postgraduate and Research Institute of Health Sciences, a government of Puducherry institution accredited by NAC with A grade. So we have one program called BPT, Bachelor of Physiotherapy, and another program called MPT, Masters of Physiotherapy. So for these two programs, we are in MOU with an institute called VCRC, Vector Control Research Center, coming under ICMR. So our students, they design exercises for patients suffering from filariasis. And these exercises are vetted by a third party. And then they are given to ICMR as a recommendation, and it is implemented in the filarial clinic of VCRC. So 10 years back, when we had made some exercises, when we had designed them, we had requested a physiotherapist from Finland to come over and vet the exercises that we had designed. So he had to take 3 flights, and one flight had a technical snag and he missed the flight. So he came very late. So he called me up and said, Gopal, you please start the session. So we had orthopedic doctors, we had people from ICMR and all, and the session was going on. So when the session was about to end, he just entered. He was a slim guy and he was from Finland, and he directly walked on stage, and then he folded his hands like this, bent a little, and then said namaste. So we were all very happy. A person from Finland has learned our Indian culture, and he has folded his hands, bent a little, and said namaste. We all clapped. Then again he folded his hands like this, bent a little, and again he said one more namaste. Now people started looking at me. Kisko leke aaya idhar? Then I was very uneasy, and then again he folded his hand and did like this for the 3rd time. Then really I just stood up from my seat, and then I was going upstairs. He was doing it for the 4th time, 5th time. People confirmed that en route he has entered into some mental hospital at Kilpak, and he has come here, and Gopal has brought such a worst fellow here. So that was all comments going on. So I went and called hold of him, sir, ab kya kar raha hai? So then he said, see, in Finland, there are no mosquitoes. In Finland, there is nobody suffering from filariasis. And you have called me to vet exercises that could be applied on filariasis. Then I thought this fellow is going to kill me on stage. But when you give me an assignment, I will do it to the full of my ability. So I have done a lot of data mining. And in that data mining, I have found that in Tanjavur and that areas, there is more moisture in the air. Because there is more moisture in the air, there are a particular type of mosquitoes here. And these mosquitoes, they are responsible for this filariasis. So if in a family, there are 5 people, the mosquito bites everybody, but only one person gets filarial problem. The other 4 people do not have it. So why? It is because Parallel to our blood circulation, we have a lymph circulation, and this lymph circulation, there is an energizing exercise, and that energizing point is this place. So when you fold your hands and bend a little, that means you are energizing your lymph circulation. So in that family of 5, the other 4 people, their lymph circulation is perfect. That is why they are not being affected. And that is the reason in India, when you meet somebody, you greet them by saying a namaste. So per day, you will be minimum meeting 50 people. So 50 times you bend a little and say namaste. That means your lymph circulation is energized. No failure. And he further added and said, in that Indians have made 4 modifications. When you go to the temple, above head. When you meet somebody who is your guru, near your brain. When you meet somebody who is younger than you. When you meet somebody who is, for the namesake you have to give. So these are the modifications. So sir had beautifully started his first slide with this namaste. So it was excellent. And there is one study which he also quoted it very beautifully. Monday morning. So when you are in this heavy traffic, when you are trying to approach Balaji Vidyapeeth, you just place your palm near your nose. So you will be seeing a lot of air through the right nostril. That means your left brain is working. And on a Friday night, that means second Saturday, Sunday, holiday, happy. So on Friday night, when you are about to go, when you, after placing your biometric, then place your finger here and see. More air on this side. That means your right brain is working. So when you want your right brain and left brain to be in coordination, then this is the only exercise that can be done. So that sir beautifully explained it, and that was very happy. He also said about Nimhan's logo. So that was a beautiful logo. But what fascinated me in Nimhan's logo is Hans. We have a beautiful bird called Hans looking at the moon. So there is one beautiful place you all should visit that is called Birbal Sahani's Institute of Paleobotany. That is in Lucknow. So there they have one room dedicated for Hans. Hans is the only bird that can separate water from milk. So all the work that has been done by lactometer in those days was done by Hans. That is why it has become extinct. And how does it do it? It is very beautiful. That is the only bird that has saliva. No other bird has saliva. Thank God. Otherwise, we will all have to go with helmet. All birds will be spitting. So Hans is the only bird that has saliva, and the beak is so beautifully made of Hans that the saliva will overflow, but it can never spit. So the saliva that overflows in Tamil language, that is called as jollu. When you get up in the early morning, you can find one beautiful mustache here. That is, the saliva would have overflown and it would have dried and it would form a white mustache. That is called jollu. So this bird also, the saliva will overflow and form a white patch. So when this bird dips its beak in milk, milk is an emulsion. So when it dips its beak in milk, the isoelectric point of milk is reached. So the emulsion will break. When you take milk and when you add lemon, what will happen? It will break. So like that, the milk emulsion breaks, and the protein of milk, that is called casein, that casein precipitates. And the upper is whey water. So this bird will eat the protein and leave the whey water. That is how it separates water from milk. And this is the principle of chromatography. So if you come to your pharmacy college, you will be having a high performance liquid chromatography, gas liquid chromatography, UPLC, so HPTLC. So the principle of chromatography is based on Hans, and that is from India. Okay, so sir, in that logo, he beautifully showed that Hans looking at the moon. So in one Siddhar song, it is beautifully said, the Hans initially will look at the moon, and then it will find the reflections of moon all over the water. It will try to touch here and there, but it will not be able to touch anything. Then it will look up, it will stare, and it will be staring only at the moon, and it will understand these and all are Maya, and that is original. So that was very beautifully there in the logo. And he asked a beautiful question. What is yoga? So in Pondicherry and Tamil Nadu, this question is a misfit. Here you should change the question and ask, what is not yoga? Because here everything is yoga. Okay. And today morning, I had a beautiful chance of having breakfast with the family of ICART. So while having breakfast, one madam came and sat in front of us. I don't know, I didn't get introduced to that madam. So madam was there and she asked us, sir, after this 21st, when the validatory program is over, you ask Dr. Anand sir to take us for a tour. Because we are so much stressed. So you ask sir, sir to take us for a tour. At least somewhere we will go. Then the other opposite person will ask him to give at least one day leave. That also is not possible. Going for a tour where possible. So like that was a beautiful discussion that was going on. So from that discussion, something that struck me is, after this, if you want to go for a tour, the best place to go is Oma Puliyur. So near Chidambaram, we have a place called Oma Puliyur. Oma Puliyur is the birthplace of Patanjali. Oma Puliyur. There are two places, Oma Puliyur, Kanatam Puliyur. One is Patanjali and another one is Vyagrabhadar. So from there only they did their penance against Nadaraja. And then after he got established in Chidambaram, both of them came and settled in Chidambaram. So the best place for sir to take these people for a tour is Oma Puliyur and Kanatam Puliyur, en route to Narayur. If there is one seat available, please let me know. I will also join. Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam. Thank you. Then you all should have insurance. Otherwise, I'm not going to try. So, sir had beautifully made up the Vada, Pitta, and Kaba. But today, research is joining carbohydrate metabolism, protein metabolism, and fat metabolism with Vada, Pitta, and Kaba. So that was beautifully done. So the breath, the body, and the mind. So in Siddha, sir was asking about the fast breath and all that. In Siddha, this is beautifully said in three ways: the dog, the man, the elephant. The dog for a very fast breath. So immediately it will see somebody and it will start what you call bowling. And once the next moment, knowing that he is friendly, it will leave it. So very fast, everything. On the contrary, the elephant, everything slow. First observe, then attack. Man, he has to learn from both and be intermediate. So that was very beautifully said. And the last punch was that if you are sad, you go to a fetal position. So if you are happy, you stretch. So what happens when you are anger? What happens when you are fear? So all this in Tamil, we call it as Navarasam. So why that word rasam for Nava? It is very simple. So the best rasam in the world is available in Udupi Sri Krishna temple. So if you go to Manipal, there is a place called Udupi. There is a Krishna temple. Afternoon, they will give you free meals. So the best rasam is available. You can drink liters together. It will be so tasty. So I then asked them, why do you call this as the best rasam? So they said, see, however you, mix it up, you leave it, immediately the oil and the mustard seeds will come up and float. So this Navarasam, no, all these 9 feelings, however you mix in your body, you live it, you should immediately have happiness floating up and coming to the top. So that is why that is called as the best rasam. So that beautifully was made. And today, I think it is a day of Miss Garima. So because she answered, she was called by Meena madam, made to sit in the front, and she was patted up. So you also answer questions, ask questions, you can sit next to Meena madam. And today, if you ask Vairamuthu sir, who will be your favorite? Because he, in one song, he beautifully makes it up, 60 kg Taj Mahal. That means a woman, when she is 60 kgs, she appears as beautiful as Taj Mahal. Here we have a man who is 60 kgs. I envy him. I am 85 kgs and he is 60 kgs. Beautiful, beautiful it was. Today, at around 8:15, I was getting ready, and we had Dr. Balaji in my entrance to bring me to this place. Then I was worshipping God Balaji. Then I thought, Dr. Balaji has brought me, he's come here to take me to Balaji Vidyapeeth. Balaji to Balaji. So then immediately I thought, what is this? Holistic health and yoga therapy, they both are same. So through yoga therapy, going through holistic health is just like with the help of Dr. Balaji coming to Balaji Vidyapeeth. In this world of artificial intelligence, there was an experiment done in America where they were trying a chimpanzee to be just like human. So all the training was given and the final test was going on. In the test, it was like this. The press people, everybody were there. All the scientists were there. And there were 10 photographs. 5 photographs of human beings and 5 photographs of different types of chimpanzees. So all these photographs were mixed together. There were 2 boxes. One box on which a human being's photo was stuck, and another box on which a chimpanzee's photo was stuck. All these jumbled photos were given to the chimpanzee that was trained by artificial intelligence to be just like human being. So it has to now segregate the photos and put it in the right box. So everything was videographed, the video was on. The first photograph was the photograph of a chimp. So it exactly put it in the chimp box. The second photograph was a human being. It put it in the human being photograph. Like this, all the 9 photographs excellently, without any mistake, it did it. The climax. The last photograph was the photograph of the same chimpanzee. So everybody was looking what the chimpanzee is going to do. Because 9 exactly did it. So everybody, 90% experiment is success. What will happen to the last one? So the chimpanzee took up the last photograph. The chimpanzee looked at the photograph. This side, it is human being box. This side, it is chimpanzee box. The chimpanzee looked at the photograph. That photograph is the photograph of the same chimpanzee. It looked at this box. It looked at this box. This is human being. This is chimpanzee. So everybody was, if this is correct, then the experiment is correct. It is going to be 100% success. But the chimpanzee put it in human being box. So everybody thought, oh, the experiment is a failure. But the scientist who designed it stood up and said, success, success. Eureka. He said, how do you call it success? See, the chimpanzee, when it is able to distinguish between a monkey and a man, it has promoted itself into a human being and put its photo in a human being box. So it is success. Okay. So today, through yoga therapy, which is nothing but holistic health, we are going to holistic health and healing. So we are upgrading ourselves, we are promoting ourselves as we are ambassadors of nature. So it was an excellent session by Dr. Hemant Bhargav. On behalf of everybody here, congratulations, sir. Thank you very much, sir. And I thank all the participants for your active involvement, for your beautiful participation. Have a great day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think we have really had a hot start to the day in a very cool way. I now request Professor Madan Mohan sir to please come and give a memento of appreciation to Dr. Hemant. And also a memento of appreciation to our Professor Gopal sir. Hemant is a photo, yes. And to Professor Gopal sir. Please come. Yeah, we are all here. We are now taking a short break of 10 minutes for tea. I hope the tea is there outside. We request you all to join us. We'll come back in exactly 15 minutes because we want to have an extended, beautiful session till lunch with our Dr. Venkateswaran sir, who's here. You are going to have a marvelous day because, seriously, day 2, I tell you, we are really having a great time. So please